Hello everyone, Hachadino over here, and today I'm going to post an update on my build that is not using any Unix yet, and we use several abilities, mainly focusing on getting freeze, electrocute, and stuns on mobs to make them not able to do almost anything. I have some gameplay in the background. Meanwhile, I do the little intro, and then I will show everything that you need to know to play this. As I just explained before, I'm not using any unique right now. I do want to make the build a little bit stronger and things like that, but any unique that you want to play and things like that will make things pricier because, as you might know if you have been playing a little bit, getting the resistances, defenses, and other things up is going to be hard and a little bit pricey on other things. So if you didn't know what the build is about getting power charges, and we use Flicker Strike and Ice Strike, whirling combos, a lot of things and mechanics. We are a disciple of Chayula, not an invoker. I do enjoy this ascendancy. Right now we are playing with two ascendancies, but eventually also get my third. And the third one is nothing crazy, it's just some extra chaos damage that sometimes procs. The important ones are the two that I put on the video. I also have, well, I will upload the mobalytics guide that I'm going to put in the description, and likely at the beginning of the video there's also like a card that you can check. And what we are doing here is a map tier 4, I think was it, or tier 3, just with one extra level, and it's nothing crazy. As you know, the mobs in Path of Exile 2 are not super, let's say, numerous, so you will see me running around quite a little bit. You might already have seen quite enough about this. I'm going to show also a different thing now. I'm going to show the trial. The, let's say it is the Scorpion. It's the last fight of the three trial thingy. The fourth one is the time dude, but I haven't gone to him. He's like more of a later fight thingy. And as you can see, the build itself works even without using flicker. We have a huge deal of damage. We get freezes. The freeze actually comes really fast. As you can see, it's already frozen. And now I'm just getting power charges to do flicker, but it already died. It was also getting electrocute up, and it was shocked and chilled. Now here is the guide itself that it's kind of explaining everything that I do with the tree and everything. Of course, I'm not going to kind of go through it because it's likely just what I'm going to say. I'm going to go inside the game, that we are already online, of course, and explain things. So first of all, one thing that I don't think is 100% needed, it's actually my cast of critical strike setup, because Sniper's Mark has some cooldown. You can use a Sniper's Mark and get that 100% 100 spirit to use on other things. But first, let's go into the places. We are a disciple of Chayula, and we get into the bridge and lucid dream it. If you don't know what into the bridge is, you spawn flame of Chayulas, and these flame of Chayulas have different effects. As you can see, when you get the red ones, you get 7% of your maximum life. When we have this 100% effect, it's 14%. The same thing with the blue ones that give mana, and the purple ones are the cool ones, is the ones that gives us extra damage as chaos. Even getting one is 14%, so if you get two or three, it's kind of like a super ascendancy going into damage. Our skills are Flicker Strike, Combo Finisher, Close Combat, and Perpetual Charge. Eventually, I will also get another ones, but that is the thing. Cast of Critical Strike, as I said before, not needed. And Sniper's Mark and Ingenuity. Why are we using the Sniper's Mark? Another thing. is because of this keystone. It's called resonance. Usually, other monks or other things use Siphoning Strike, Killing Palm, and other mechanics to get power charges from shocking or doing things, but because we also want to freeze and stun and other places, so we also do quite a lot of physical and other things. We don't really care about those. It's also really clunky using Killing Palm and Ciphering Strike. So these help a lot. Of course, you don't have super generation, but as you can see on the footage before at the beginning, I was doing kind of fine in a map itself and was having no issue just clearing mobs. Now, we are also using Mantra of Destruction. This is going to empower our whole flicker, and every time we kill, we get a Flame of Chayula stack. And as you might expect, when we get 10 of those, is 140% extra damage chaos. Very strong. Right now, this build it's only up to level like 70 something, so we still don't have our main chaos damage nodes that we want to get, or any defenses. As you might expect, when you want to go higher in level, you will need to go into those defensive nodes for evasion and energy shield. I think those are the best ones that you can get right now, and super strong, especially with the spectral ward and other things, but that is for a build in the future. Of course, I already have kind of the things that I want to equip ready, but we are going to focus on this one that you can get running into low maps or even in the campaign. One thing, of course, this is not a leveling guide. You need at least level 50 something to get even flicker going, and if you want to get the custom critical things going, you also want a lot of, as you might expect, critical strike chance. Now, our main builder is Extra Strike. This is the main mechanic that we use to freeze mobs. Ice Strikes is really good because it has fast attack speed and it converts all of our physical to damage. The weapon that we want to use, of course, it's a full physical one. If the more, the better. You also want, of course, critical strike chance and attacks per second, but beggars can be choosers. This is what I have, and this is what I'm using. It's likely that for some exiles you can get something way better, and maybe with even more melee to melee skills. Be very careful though. If you get a lot of plus to melee skills and you also get eventually more links into your main abilities, they are going to cost a lot. As you can see, my Whirling Assault, it's already 150, and Flicker is 160 also. When you get another one, it's going to go to 200 and something, and if you get those plus 6, is the cap on all the melee skills thingies, it's going to cost up to 400 or 500 mana per use. Very taxing, and maybe you may not be interested. Now, as for other mechanics that we are using, we are getting Rage from Tempest Bell. Tempest Bell is something that we build combo, and we hit it, and it does a huge hot shockwave that does a lot of damage. I used it in the clip where we killed the Scorpion. I usually don't use it that much unless there is like a strong rare or a boss. Our main clear is using Shattering Palm. This is like a blink or a dash that we do to a mob, and we go directly to it. We get a lot of freeze going into it, and we also get shards that will explode later. Those shards also have a lot of base critical, have a lot of freeze buildup, and also have a huge multiplier, making it so you pop packs really easily. Of course, I also have the cold infusion because I want to do as much frost damage as possible to get that going. My Whirling Assault is kind of made to stun after we freeze a mob and we have our bell up. Doing a Whirling Assault, it's going to give me more combo because I also want to get my Mantra of Destruction, and we also have more stun buildup. Eventually, of course, we can put some damage links into it, but I'm not that interested. Combat Frenzy is, as you might expect, one of the ways that we generate those power charges. Every time we freeze or electrocute or pin, you can get one. Of course, this can't happen any more than 5.9. I have it at level 12 because I didn't have dexterity at the time, and I'm not super keen on going super high on dexterity anyway. So here we have also proficient, 50% chance to gain an additional charge. You can put this one on here or on the sniper mark when you have more links. Charge staff is a super strong buff that we get, and we use those power charges to get. And it sends some shockwaves. This is the way that we electrocute, and it has concentrated effect, lightning infusion, and electrocute. Eventually, I'm also going to use the gloves that make all our lightning damage electrocute, making building it up easier because it will also get some build up from our ice strike, our bell, and other things. And it will also do 40% more damage, and we get another into dot. Mantra of Destruction has Premeditation, Murderous Intent to get Cooling Strike on our Empowered Flicker, or Bell if we are going to use that. Or you can even do it with Whirling Assault, kind of good for clear when you don't have power charges to use Flicker. It happens quite a lot. And Chaos Mastery, use a +1 to get that. Mantle of Destruction is kind of low prior to get the third and fourth and fifth because it doesn't really have any more good, let's say, thingies. Now, as for Flicker, it's combo finisher, use 40% more damage. Close combat, use more damage. Perpetual charge, really strong, making it so you can actually reset, and if you have the 8 charges, you can do one hit, then two, and keep going. If you get really lucky and keep getting resets, you're just going to super farm things. Of course, the later links are, we are going to put, for example, the one that expends rage, or you can put another damage mod. I'm not really interested right now in putting more things into Flicker right now, at least until I get more gear and other things. Now, Into the Breach has a little mechanic. I already explained it. It's likely that these mechanics may stay because otherwise Embrace the Darkness is just super useless anyway. But you can link the spirit gems, and they don't reserve spirit, but they actually work. So we have precision, cannibalism, clarity, vitality, and eventually it will get the last one, and we can put herbalism in there. Now, I already explained almost every ability that I have. You have seen some footage, you have seen me play it, you have seen that the disciple of chayula is kind of cool. Now, as for the flame thingies, you don't really have to think a lot about getting them. You can kind of game it a little bit on bosses. Just staying like if they spawn over there, you can stay a little bit here for like 10 seconds, and then you get some flames going into the boss, and you can get them. They last 25 seconds, so you have time to get like 2 or 3. This is kind of enough to get a lot of extra damage. Now, into the gear. I don't have anything special. I don't even have my resistance escape. So you want health and resistances. I don't even have resistances on everything. As you might expect, I'm super poor right now. For stats, you don't really care that much about the strength. You get 40 or 45, mainly to get the support gems in there. And also, eventually, balls, you will need 39 strength at least. And then you go all in dexterity and intelligence. There is a possibility that we may go into a higher place and get our Whispers of Doom to get 2 curses up, apart from, I mean, a curse apart from our mark. but that is something for the future. Now, this is the build in its entirety. If you have any questions or anything that you want to know, you can always ask me in the comments, like in the other video, and you can ask on that one too. I'm quite likely going to go into the balls and portrait and also the gloves thingy when I have more actual gear. I need a good helmet and belt and good rings. This ring is kind of good, but the others one are not. And as I said before, it is not 100% needed to get the cast on critical on the sniper's mark. I just put it here because I kind of like automating it. I have enough critical strike, but you can just take this one off and put it there. And then, as you might expect, you can maybe take out Weird Assault and put a Herald or Cast on Shock or anything that you want. But I'm kind of happy with my skills right now. You can also run unsets and get the two Heralds, the Herald of Thunder and Herald of Ice with Homing Calamity. It's really good. And now, of course, if you want to get the build link, it's going to be on the Mobalytics guide, and you can also take a look at what I have. Remember, I'm level 73, and the guide I posted is for level 70, so you take 3 points of something. Now, I'm going to go into kind of a leveling thing, so if you are interested in that, you can keep going, and if not, have a nice day, and I hope you like this video and subscribe. Now let's go for leveling and other things. Of course, this is not a build that is made for leveling because some skills you don't like. None of these skills is at low level, but in that case, you do have some things that you can do. So what you begin is you begin with Glacial Cascade and Frozen Locust. Falling Thunder is a super bad skill that I don't know why it's even here. I think instead of Falling Thunder there should be Tempest Fury, and instead of Glacial Cascade should be Ice Strike. Like, these are super good skills, but these are super bad, and these are kind of good, nothing crazy. And basically what you will do is you will go into melee and you will auto attack. You will actually use your auto attack quite a little bit. I used it with Martial Tempo and Close Combat. I could, because it is free. You can put good support into that, and you use auto attack all the time. And when you have a big pack of mobs, you can Frozen Locust, and that makes you jump away. And then you Glacial Cascade. Remember, it has that cool thing at the end where it explodes. Then eventually you will get your Tempest Bell, and you will auto attack it. You can also Frozen Locust and then Tempest Bell, and the Tempest Bell will pop the Frozen Locust. It's kind of a cool thingy. You can also Vaulting Impact into Frozen Locust. You can see here. You can put the Frozen Locust in the in place. For example, let's say that I want to, instead of Flicker, this was what you will do at the beginning. So you will get your Frozen Locust, this one, and then you will put the bell or use Vaulting Impact or the Glacial Cascade. Those are the bread and butter until you get the, let's say, the cool, good abilities. Then it's Ice Strike and Tempest Flurry. I also kind of like the Staggering Palm for a while, and it's a really strong buff, but it just lasts too little. I would like GGG if they could put the buff duration to 10 seconds, and then you can put some more duration into it. Would be kind of good. What this does is, if there's a mob primed for a stun, like it has 75 to 80% of the stagger bar charged, you can use this ability, and you get a strong buff
can be used to stun an enemy.
That
with a
you can
nearly
see
full
stun, and
stunning
then you
effect.
get some super
Enemies that are vulnerable
wind
to
thingy.
staggering palm have this indicator on them. If you successfully stun them, you will shoot wind.
That is kind of cool because it will shoot projectiles from your Ice Strike and from Tempest Flurry.
Tempest Flurry is a combo of 4 lightning attacks. The third attack strikes 3 times.
And also with Ice Strike and Tempest Flurry, you can use the one that I'm using right now, the Crescendo, and you get the double performing thing. You can also, of course, keep going on the physical side. Let's say you can keep going for Wind Blast, and this one causes daze, and with mobs at daze, they are easier to stun, so it has good synergy. And also with Bolting Impact, because you can consume the daze, so you can use Wind Blast mobs, and then when they are dazed, you Bolting Impact into them and have a lot of stun build up, and then you Staggering Palm and can go into Ice Strike on Tempest Fury. Afterwards, these I don't really like any of these, to be honest. A Stormwave, you can use it
area attack
to clear, like you can use Wind Blast and Stormwave and Wave of Frost, kind of, to just kind of play a ranged monk and just palm them. Now, Freezing Mark is one of the coolest things that you have at that level,
vulnerable to being frozen.
Making mobs more likely to be frozen. At that level, you, with Tempest Belt, Ice Strike, and Freezing Mark, you are likely to face roll bosses. You will freeze them, and then you can use Tempest Flurry to do a lot of hits on the Tempest Belt. Now, on here, you might already be able to get the cool things right now, and are Charge Staff and Mantra of Destruction. Mantra of Destruction, it's, let's say, not a huge deal at the beginning, but you can use it with Tempest Bell and usually makes it so you get a lot of Flames of Chayula. By this time, you already have the Into the Breach, so you can get some extra flames that way. You don't have the second one, but it's nothing crazy. Charge Staff helps a lot, and of course, as you might already know, Resonance is super close to the beginning, so at this time you can already also go and get a Sniper's Mark. Sniper's Mark is going to be the way that you get Frenzy charges apart from Combat Frenzy, that you also get around the level 8 thingy. And when you slot those two, you have the same kind of power when you are freezing with Freezing Mark and when you are doing other things. Now, after you get Will Assault and Shattering Palm, you can do almost my whole combo. The only thing that you can't do right now is Flicker Strike, but this is something that you build up and use it to destroy bosses or other places. Right now, when you get Shattering Palm, you can do like I did in the first showcase. You use this to begin, and then you get combos with Ice Strike, pop your Tempest Bell, and it's likely that the mob is frozen right now, so you can use Will and Assault to get a stun, and from Charge Staff you also get that sweet Electrocute. You can play without Electrocute for a long while because it's likely that you actually don't have enough damage for that, and at the end you will play Flicker Strike. That is the skill that does the most damage when you have a lot of power charges, but it needs some love from you. You get the charge stuff. There's one thing that you can do if you took notice on my showcase at the beginning. You actually don't need to use charge stuff with full charges. You can use it with 2 or 3 and then just keep building onto it. There's also a really good node that we have that is, of course, for quarter save called One with the Storm, making it, for example, if you use it with 2 power charges, it counts as 3. So you can use it, for example, with 3 and 3, and you will go full into power charges for 8 if you have the boots or not. And as you might expect also, these are the first things that you get. You get some power charges things and resonance, critical strike, and then elemental damage and some critical strike here. Then you go directly for more power charges and for one with the storm. What I actually did is, because I can't really go into flicker strike early, I did not go for power charges until I didn't get the charge staff skill. So you can ignore this for a while and just go and get the elemental ones. These are really good. You can even get some fire damage in your gear somehow, and if you ignite, you'll also ignite the bell and make it so you do 30% more. Right now I don't have any fire damage, so I can't use this, but I will anoint eventually climate change. This is, I think, one of the better anoints that we can get, because when it's frozen, and we also get some freeze build-up, we have a lot of freeze build-up in this build, from here and there and other places. When we crit, we also get a lot of freeze build-up, and here I get some electrocute build-up, but these points are not super important while you are leveling. You do want to get this +1 to critical chance, so it's more important that you go after getting all of these nodes, that you come here, you get a nice jewel, and then go and do directly for the one with the storm. Ideally, you get one with the storm and the power charges nodes when you just get charge stuff and then build onto more crit when you get to flicker. And also now for the last thing that we will talk about is about jewels. Jewels have quite a lot of strong mods. You can see here, for example, this one has a spell damage that is kind of a miss. I also can use one exalted, but I don't really kind of like it that much. We get critical strike damage bonus and critical strike chance. As you can see, I rolled kind of well on the critical bonus, but on the other, I didn't do that. And then we have +1 rage. +1 rage on melee hit helps a lot. Remember, rage now is a multiplier for our damage overall. You get more attack damage per rage, and you have a maximum of 30. My Tempest Bell helps quite a little bit. I get 3 rage on hit every 0.5 seconds, and then I also have a font of rage, making give me 2 rage regeneration, and it also disables the way that rage goes off. Here I have potential. I just expend the power charge and it gets more critical strike chance, but it's not a huge deal, nothing crazy, and that will be everything. We have all of the things that you need to know, and I will keep making a guide for when we actually go into more of the chaos damage thingies. When you get your third node, your chaos damage goes up quite a little bit, and then of course we want to go into more of those cool chaos damage nodes that we have a lot closer, and also to get some defense, because even with almost 2k life, right now I have no evasion, no armor, a little bit of luck, and almost no energy shield. That makes me die quite often. So that is everything. The last minute that I will show, for example, one last clip that I have. You have already maybe seen this one, but I'm going to show it to you super fast. Wait 1 second. I had it ready, but for some reason YouTube didn't like it that much. And it got snapped. And it is what can happen sometimes when you get a lot of resets. I will leave you with this one. I hope you enjoy flicker also as much as I do. And not much you can do, of course, when you don't proc. But when you proc, it is something really, really cool. I'm going to show you just now. Here it is. Have a nice day, and I will see you on the next video. Look at him go.